Welcome everybody. This is D. Darrell Spears. You can call me Coach D. You can call me the Godfather, Black YouTube therapist, all the monikers of the past. This is D. Darrell Life Solutions. Appreciate everybody for being here. We're gonna have a uh, talk today, a discussion in which I want to give reasons and express why the Black community refuses to change. And I understand in what I'm about to say because I've created videos in the past that kind of talk about this a little bit. And the purpose of me creating this video is because being on YouTube for the last, I would say, 7 years, doing content for the last 6 years, the behavior of grown adults, and the sectors is reminiscent of why the Black community refuses to change. There are people who have created sectors and certain thought, certain dogmas of thinking in which they refuse to be flexible, refuse to change, refuse to look at things from a more effective, beneficial manner. Despite how problematic their talking points are, even when faced with reality, they will stand whole and stand strongly with beliefs and ideas and behaviors that are not beneficial, that are actually detrimental. And that's the Black community as a whole. We as a people, not everybody, but a large percentage of Black people, that makes it glaring and almost stereotypical to the fact that we continue to engage in behaviors and not change. We continue to not put our needs first above other people. We're so busy wanting to be equal. We're so busy wanting to be liked because of our psychological hate for ourselves and those that look like us. The apathy in the Black community is real towards one another. The apathy of a state of just not giving a damn about people who have no influence or benefit to you. I see it in rural communities, suburbs, particularly in the inner city. We have a culture that doesn't care about the next person, that does not care. They don't care. And in that, it creates a culture of people that will feel comfortable with seeing the demise of other Black people, where the people are stealing from you, being killed. We are numb to all things that put us in a state of weakness. We're numb to it. We are basically numb to this. to the fact that when we see other black people on the news, we care less. And one of the most common statements that are made is that, well, it ain't got nothing to do with me. I just got to worry about me and mine. And some Negroes may say, fuck that nigga. I don't care. These are the common things that black people say, in, whether it's in therapy or just commonly in their own environment. When things happen to us, per se. And let's just be honest, as a whole, we don't care about what happens. One of the reasons I know we don't care is because we don't fund things that benefit us exclusively. We don't fund our businesses enough. We don't well, we support churches, but we don't pressure them to do the things with all the money that they have for the community. We don't support education. We don't support black entrepreneurship. We don't support, as a whole, families and marriages. We don't fund or we don't care about group economics. All of these things that we should be caring about politically, health-wise, the things that matter the most, we don't care about. But I can tell you what we do care about. We refuse to change because we care about things that individually affect us. We are more prone to spend money on things that individualize us as opposed to things that will help our community. And most of those things that we spend money on are not owned by us. And the reason why the black community refuses to change, because the black community don't want to do the work. You see, for real change to happen, and this is my problem with people in the conscious community, online, in person, all types of pro-black communities, woke communities, boule, whatever you want to call it, is that everybody wants to experience, they want to be able to experience what they're going to fight for. And we have to understand that in any group of people that want revolutionary change, there are people who are going to die and not be able to see it. That's just the reality. Also, the black community loves to monetize revolution and community change. They claim they're doing the work, but they also want to get rich off of it. You see, I'm not saying you can't make money. And I'm not saying that you can't take care of your families. But if you want real change, there has to be a financial sacrifice. There has to be a financial sacrifice There has to be a social sacrifice. There has to be some level of sacrifice where you're giving up things that mean we have to sacrifice, for instance, sacrificing holidays. Birthdays. There has to be a sacrifice. We don't want to sacrifice. We want to get paid off the community. We want to continue to enrich other communities. And we want to feel good if they treat us nice and respect us. That's what black people value. Being respected by others, which is fake. Being and that's the thing. We're constantly spending money assuming that they're supposed to give us this feeling, this facade that does not exist. The lack of black male leadership, holding black men accountable. Decreasing the head of house rate for females, marrying these females, enriching black households by having two incomes instead of one. These are the issues that leads to complacency and destitution, malignant status of third class, second class citizens. Because that's what we are. And partially we're that is because we choose not to spend our money with ourselves. So I don't want to hear when black people talk about I can't be pro-black because you can't get rich off of black money and black money alone. My answer is tell the Asian man he can't get rich off of black dollars, and he'll laugh in your face. Tell the Indian man he can't get rich off of black dollars because he has. Tell the Arab man he can't get rich off of black dollars, and he'll say you're losing your mind. You know why? Because they gotten rich off of majority black dollars. Another reason the black community refuses to change because they refuse to learn from history. We refuse to evaluate history in a manner to teach our children in every generation behind us, after us, to change and do things differently. We have a culture that refuses to raise our children to understand slavery. We have a culture that refuses to teach our children to fully understand civil rights, the Black Power movement. Why in the 80s crack affected the black community, and why in the 90s mass incarceration affected the black community. Every black kid in America should have that education and should understand how we got to this point. So based on having that information, they choose not to repeat that cycle. This is why we don't have generational wealth, and this is why every generation most black children start with nothing once they graduate out of high school and go to college. They're starting from nothing to get to somewhere instead of having generational wealth that allows you to start with something that increases your chances of being successful. This is how rich people stay rich. Rich people stay rich because they give their kids wealth, and the kids use that wealth to catapult to more wealth. We, as a community, mainly based in religion, feel like struggle gets us closer to God. Failure and stress and disappointment and agony, all of these things that cause pain, causes us to have to lean on God, and that gets us closer to God. In all actuality, that is not what if from a religious standpoint, what he wants for us. It is not. But the black community refuses, and I say refuses to change. The black community refuses to change because the black community doesn't want to do the work. And the people who choose to do the work want to monetize the work to get paid instead of focusing on improving the community. If you improve the community overall, you will improve the economics. The money will eventually trickle down to you simultaneously, because if black people do the things that they would do and the dollar rotates in the black community as it should, there will be more people willing to support black industries. But we refuse to do these things. We refuse to financially support political parties and politicians. We think all you have to do is vote. No. And you think because you vote, people are supposed to do things for you. That's a lie. Politicians make decisions for those who have financially done things for them. I'm not saying that they don't respect your vote, because they do respect your vote. That's why they tried to take it away from us. And that's why when it was supposed to be ratified for as the laws to make it illegal to discriminate as far as your Voters' Right Act, it took them damn near a year and a half to get it revert because they cared less about doing it. They kept it on the books for almost a year before they reapproved it again for like another 70 years or whatever. And this was in like 2002 or 3 or something like that. It was in the early 2000s. So we refuse to change because we're comfortable as long as people like us, give us a few jobs. And if we see those small amount of people who are in non-intellectual industries making it, and we think we can make it. Notice, guys, the industries that the average kid inspires to be in are jobs that don't require a lot of intellectual processing, and jobs that have a very low rate of people being successful. Albeit football, basketball, music, acting, those are a limited amount of jobs for a limited amount of people and a limited amount of black people. But you see, if we could change the trend and the average black male grow up not giving a damn about a basketball, but they caring about the goddamn computer software, that would change the game. They would care about the financial game, business. They would care about other sciences, inventions, which we once were prolific at prior to desegregation. So we need to get back to our fundamentally what made black people great. And what made black people great is that despite all the hardships that we encountered, we still found a way to invent things and create things to make things easier and better for ourselves with hardly nothing. Our natural intelligence allowed us to separate ourselves through our struggles to create things to make things easier for ourselves. Now it should be at a point where we should be inventing things to make our financial and our social status better and to obtain power. And we're not going to obtain any power of any consequence unless we have a financial backing. We refuse to do that, and that's why we continue to own 0.5%, which was the amount of wealth that we owned towards the end of slavery. We have not improved financially. Yes, we have made gains socially, financially. We're in eras where we were never at in the past, but the bottom line is the bottom line. And now we're at a point now in 2023, we cannot blame everything on racism. Because if we fought racism effectively or half-assed, we'd be in a better position. We should own at least 10 to 15% of the wealth in the United States. And you know what that is? Right now, we own 0.5%, which is about $2 trillion. So if we own 10%, we're talking about 25 to 30 trillion dollars. That's what the African American community should be worth. But it's not. It's not. And this is why the black community refuses to change. Because we're so caught up in distraction. We're so caught up in foolishness. We're so caught up in all the things that have no real effect in our lives and changing our reality. Because we have failed to teach our children to have a better reality. So every generation of people will continue to support other groups of people, will continue to have an inferiority complex towards white people, will continue to have apathy towards one another, will continue to drown ourselves in a superficial stupidity, and we will continue to be mad and angry why no one won't help us when we have to help ourselves. And nobody's going to help you unless you provide a tangible reason for them to benefit from helping you. They're not going to do it for nothing. Speaking of other communities and other groups of people, and the other communities actually like black people where they're at. They don't want us to change. Other communities are good with black people being where they're at because that keeps the competition at a level where they can benefit. They don't want to compete against black men and black women. And that's the whole reason why this system is where is working the way it is, because it suppresses black exceptionalism. And if black exceptionalism was able to be a major part of black culture, we would dominate and we would utilize our genetic inheritance, which is dominant, to gain power. It's all a power game. Black people, for the most part, we just want to be able to thrive without the interference from government and other entities to keep us at a certain level. We have no ill no ill reasons to try to harm other people and take over their properties and do to them what they did to us. We actually don't think like that. That's a projection that Europeans have towards black people. That's a major projection. What we want to do is thrive without interference. But as you know, those who gain power will always refuse to give it up. You're going to have to fight to get it. You're going to have to go through a violent or, political legal process to take it away, or a financial process. That's how the world works. That's how it historically has been done. And black people are not in a position trying to reinvent the wheel to do something differently that has never been done. So this is my standpoint on why the black community refuses to change. Please leave comments in the comment section. Please give your perspective. I am curious to hear from those that agreed or disagree. It's all good. This is D. Darrell Spears. Have a great day.